Good evening, Tallahassee. I am student meteorologist Sarah Lynn Premer here with your Wednesday and International Women's Day edition of FSU Weather. Kicking things right off with a live look over our very own Doak Campbell Stadium. It is a gorgeous evening, a little smoky, as I'm sure you could tell if you were outside, but all over beautiful sunset. If you were out on Landis Green for that great Give event, you know that it's just gorgeous outside. 77 around the whole area. We've got kind of a hot spot here in Tallahassee at 77, a little cooler up in Georgia and Thomasville, 72, and a little cooler down on the coast, but everyone's staying in those mid-70s temperatures around the Big Bend area. Our radar isn't picking up much except for that smoke that I mentioned earlier coming from Liberty County, showing some interference on our radar, but not really going to be any precipitation or any rain that you're going to have to worry about on your commute. Tonight's headlines are going to be a hot, dry spell here in the tri-state area. Looks to be concluding as we head into the weekend. Spring break and some rip current safety and how to spot them. All that and more on FSU Weather.
Good evening and happy Wednesday again. My name is Elizabeth Temple, your student meteorologist for tonight, and we have a pretty jam-packed show tonight. As we know, we've seen very much above average temperatures for the past few weeks, although we are going to be seeing a cold front come in this weekend just in time for spring break. So if you are in the northern part of the state and the beach was on your plan for spring break, you may want to reconsider if you don't want to go to the beach in the cold. However, it's going to be beautiful for your spring break weekend, and because we will be going to the beach often next week, we will be talking about rip current safety as well as other things like that. Now, Oceana, how's it looking more locally?
Thank you, Elizabeth. It is looking beautiful tonight here in Tallahassee. Again, just what Sarah Lynn just showed us, that beautiful sunset looking over Doak Campbell Stadium. 77, mostly sunny right now. We've got great conditions. It is really dry in Tallahassee right now. This is just some smoke over here. Nothing to worry about rain-wise today. For our current temperatures, 77 in Tallahassee, up in Donaldsonville, it's 74, and down in Apalachicola, 74 as well. We've got 70s all across the board here. Very warm temperatures, great temperatures for this time of year. Again, just like I said, this time of year, we are looking pretty warm. Compared to our average, we are sitting a lot higher, but right in between the record and the average. So these are some really interesting things to take a look at. For our current dew point, it is low today, as you could probably tell. It is 44 in Tallahassee. That made for a really crisp day in comparison to our humid weather that we have been feeling. So we love to see all of these lower dew points around the area before we get into that extra humid and muggy summer weather. For our future radar, again, really not too much to worry about here in Tallahassee or anywhere around the local area. Not too much, just some clouds in the sky, but really great weather going into spring break. For tonight, like I said, it's going to be really great. 54 degrees, mostly cloudy. It's going to be a slight wind out of the east at 6 miles an hour, but again, might want to bring a jacket if you are going out tonight, because there will be a little bit in the mid-50s all across the board here. A little bit warmer down in the coast. Carabel and Apalachicola sitting in the lower 60s, but here in Tallahassee we will be sitting at 56, Bainbridge 55, got some mid-50s all over the board here in the Big Bend area. For tomorrow, 78, very similar day to today. It's going to be partly cloudy with a wind out of the south at 8 miles per hour. We're going to have a great day tomorrow. We will be seeing some rain come the weekend, but as far as today and tomorrow, we've had great clear skies, 78, partly cloudy. Very nice temperatures for tomorrow, all across the board, 78. We see a little bit cooler down on the coast once more, 71. A little bit warmer up in Thomasville, Georgia at 75, but all over we are looking really warm for tomorrow as well. These are some nice springtime temperatures to look forward to. For Friday, it is going to be the rainy day like I had mentioned. I would definitely watch out for that. Unfortunately, again, Monday at the start of our spring break here, it is going to be pretty rainy, so I would definitely look out for that as well. But as far as the other days are concerned, we will be looking really sunny and really warm. All right, Joy, what can we look forward to for the rest of Florida?
Thank you so much. Well, let's have a little talk about Florida, the state that everyone goes to for spring break, and we're going to take a look at the weather across this entire state, and it's looking pretty much like summer. 79 degrees in Miami is what you'd expect for Miami, but in Tallahassee we are experiencing sort of the same weather, this partly cloudy type of thing. 72 Pensacola and sunny is ideal for me, but we can see a little cooler spot in Jacksonville at 62 degrees. And as Oceana mentioned, we are pretty dry up in Tallahassee, but around like the south part of Florida and even central, it's pretty average, not so as humid, but that is what we are used to in Florida. And if we're gonna take a look at our rain here, we could see that smoke that Sarah Lynn mentioned, but not really much of a rain threat up in the panhandle. However, there is a cold front going on in South Florida right now. You could see it moving downwards from Miami down to the Keys, even in the west coast part of Florida near I-75. So if you are there enjoying spring break a little bit early, I would bring an umbrella to the beach just in case. And we're going to zoom in a little bit more on Tallahassee just to see that smoke appear and then disappear completely, but there's absolutely no rain threat in this area at all. So I would go out and enjoy the rest of your day in Tallahassee if you are here, because look at that beautiful, beautiful sunset. The colors are so pretty today, and 74 is a perfect temperature to go to the beach at night or even just go for a stroll with a slight breeze to help cool you down. If you are deciding to drive a little bit early on your spring break down I-75 or even I-95, there is not really much going to impact your drive here. Just a couple of clouds in your Daytona Beach, but again, your drive should be pretty smooth and there's nothing to worry about. And if you decide to stop in Gainesville to go home or even just for spring break, it will be 68 tonight with a pretty strong breeze, but again, a beautiful day in Gainesville. So I would recommend going out and enjoying yourself. And as I mentioned, we do see that cold front in Miami. It's going down towards the Keys. So again, bring your umbrella if you are going in those areas, and you can see those clouds really peeking out, and it's 81, so it's pretty warm. If we look at our rainfall forecast, we could see that cold front making its way down south, so we will see some rain there. And even in the Panhandle region, there's another cold front moving in the area, so you will see a lot of that rain starting to peak towards Pensacola. And tonight in Florida, it will be a little bit chilly up in the north part, but in South Florida, what we would expect, 68 in Miami, is pretty cold for that region. And tomorrow, it looks just like summer. So a beautiful day to go out to the beach if you are heading in South Florida. And I would highly recommend that if you are going out to the beach on spring break, please wear sunscreen. It will be pretty sunny. And now we're going to pass things off to Nikki to talk a little bit more about spring break. So what do you got for us?
Oh, it is time for spring break. I know everyone's really excited getting those midterms done. I know I am already sick and tired of that, and I'm ready for this week to be over, but looking out at our 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, it's looking a little bit above average for the rain in our area, but over towards the west, we might be seeing more rain than average. And for Miami, it is a gorgeous day. The beach is looking beautiful. Not as beautiful as maybe if it were sunny, but it's 79 degrees, still a beautiful temperature. It's a little bit cloudy though, so you might not be catching those rays. Might still need to wear sunscreen though, because even if there's clouds, you can get a bit of a sunburn, but it is also pretty windy there. So maybe not the ideal beach conditions. You don't want to get any type of sand in your eyes. And for the start of spring break, it is going to be a little bit not what I would expect from Miami. I always expect it to be in the 80s and 90s. We're starting in the high 70s going into the weekend, but as we go into Saturday and Sunday, it's going to go right back up to that 85 degrees with maybe a little bit of rain, but hopefully if you go down there, it won't be too bad. Looking at Orlando, another big spring break destination if you're going to the theme parks. Right now it's 74 there, partly cloudy. Downtown Orlando always looks gorgeous when I look at this camera. It is pretty windy though, 18 miles an hour, little bit gusty I'd have to say, but going into the weekend as well. It's always pretty toasty in Orlando. That's why people love it. They come to Florida, they come for the hot weather and for Mickey Mouse. And it is going to be 85. And going to Sunday, it's going to get all the way up to 87 degrees, which is quite toasty, but it's spring break. Make sure you're putting on that sunscreen. Make sure you're drinking that water so you don't feel ill going to the parks and other places in Orlando. There's a lot of stuff to do there. Going into Pensacola, if we're going to be traveling to the Panhandle over spring break. If you're going to visit your friends or your family, it's 73 degrees there right now. A little bit windy, definitely not as windy as Orlando, but it is mostly sunny right now. If you're going to visit the beach there, it might be raining on Thursday, so it might not be the best day to go. It's going to be a little bit better though going into the weekend until Sunday when we get those higher rain chances again at 50%. It is going to stay relatively nice, kind of perfect beach weather in my opinion. I don't like it when it's too hot, but it should be absolutely gorgeous. This is the wave heights. If you're maybe going to try to surf this spring break, it is going to look pretty nice over the next week or so. So make sure that you go. Make sure you're always checking those marine conditions. Get those beautiful waves in. I like to body surf myself. I've never done real surfing. And for these current temperature anomalies, there is a little bit warmer than average here, but nothing too bad. But as we look across the rest of the country, most of the places it's warmer than average. But let's look more into the southeast. How is that looking, Sarah? Lynn?
Well, it's pretty much the same over most of the southeast that we're seeing here in Florida, those like warmer temperatures that we're not used to this time of year, but getting down at least into the 60s. Gainesville, we're seeing a little bit of cooler temperatures, 48 degrees in Blacksburg, Virginia. We haven't seen temperatures down in the 40s in the southeast in weeks. It's been so hot, and I know Virginia's probably counting their blessings on those cooler temperatures and not just as sweltering as it has been over the last couple of weeks. Our current temperatures, again, right here in the Big Bend area and the entire Gulf Coast, we're seeing those red hot temperatures, 79 degrees and 82 in Tampa, 79 degrees in New Orleans, and 79 in Miami as well are going to be our hot spots for the southeast. But getting down into the 50s in Nashville, Arkansas, and North Carolina, they're seeing those nicer, probably more pleasant to be outside than it is for us. 73 in Alabama, and they're seeing some kind of pleasant temperatures and some dry conditions, much drier than it also has been. 68 New Orleans, they're seeing those muggy type of conditions, and drier than it has been here in Tallahassee at 44 degree dew point, and 20 up in Nashville. It's very dry over the northern half of the southeast, but staying pretty muggy down where we are. Our temperature anomalies, the only part of the southeast that is seeing cooler temperatures than normal is Wilmington, North Carolina. Everyone else is seeing some warmer than average temperatures, 15 degrees warmer in New Orleans than it is normally. That's why we've been talking about these warm temperatures. We're really trying to hammer it in. It is not normal for this time of year. We're not seeing too much on the radar except for, as we mentioned, that smoke that's interfering on our radar, but the rain is really persisting across Mississippi and into Alabama. They're seeing some wetter conditions than we are seeing here. Probably not really that we've seen over the last couple of weeks. Again, it's been so dry, and the really hot spot of this storm is over in Texas going into Oklahoma. And they're seeing some pretty significant weather over there. Future radar, we will be getting some rain on Friday to break us from this spell, hopefully get some of that pollen off of your car. I know we've all been hoping for a little bit of a shower, and we will be getting that on Friday. Just a taste of what's to come next week. We'll be getting some more significant weather on Monday. For our rainfall forecast, again, finally seeing some type of precipitation, with our hotspot being here in Arkansas, getting 3 to 5 inches of rain, which I'm sure they are going to be needing with these hotter temperatures and cooling down temperatures. At least tonight, we're getting down in the 50s in Tallahassee. If you want to go out and take a walk, it's going to be a gorgeous night to do that. Tomorrow, right back up to 78 degrees, but pretty warm here on the Gulf Coast, but a little cooler up for our northern friends. Now we're going to pass things off to the desk to talk about our rip current safety.
Thank you, Sarah. Yes, we definitely know that rip currents are extremely dangerous, and with spring break right around the corner, we did want to just touch on that a little bit. So you can take it away.
All right, so it is spring break, as Oceana said. It is going to be a great time for people to go to the beach, but a lot of people traveling from maybe out of Florida don't know too much about rip currents. It is pretty dangerous, and there are 356 fatalities in the U.S. Through rip currents in between 2017 and 2022. That is way more than it should be. It could be preventable, but sometimes, you know, it is pretty difficult to get out of.
Yes, that is definitely a lot of fatalities, but if you are caught in a rip current, don't swim against it. We always recommend, and it is always recommended, that you swim parallel to the shore until you are free from the rip current, or just let it take you out. Never fight against it, because that could lead to you losing strength and potential drowning as well.
Yeah, here we have a graphic of kind of what you should do in the event of a rip current. As you can see, you can escape essentially by swimming with the current and going with the current until it is over, and then kind of trying to leave afterwards, but you should never try to fight it.
That's right. If you fight it, that could lead to worse things. Now, spotting the rip current can be pretty tricky. It looks kind of just like a normal wave.
Yeah, it does look like a wave, but you can kind of spot it if there's like a break in the wave. That could be constituted as a rip current or other thing.
Yeah, it could be a difference in watercolor, a line of foam even. Just definitely stay away from anything that looks somewhat like these pictures that we are showing. They can be pretty tricky to spot, so that's why it's important to look out for that.
Yeah, always make sure you're avoiding water that looks like it might be rough, because you never want to swim in that because it might potentially be dangerous. But this map shows the fatalities throughout the U.S. with rip currents, and as you can see, Florida is pretty dark.
Yeah, that is definitely scary to see, and this really puts the reality of the danger of rip currents into perspective here, because Florida is especially very, very popular place for spring breakers. That's why we did want to just touch on that a little bit for everyone.
Yeah, but now we're going to send it over to the wall with Joy.
Thank you. Rip current safety is really important, especially regarding spring break and how we're all going to be going to the beach. But we're going to take a more national look at our country. Even in the beach areas over here, it is pretty warm. But if you are traveling up north right now for an earlier spring break, it is not really looking like spring break at all. 16 degrees in Bismarck and 34 in Minneapolis with some rain and snow chances is not really spring break like, but mostly across the southern half of the United States, the weather is looking pretty nice, and we can start to see our cold front passing through the Texas region. You can see how the dew points are a lot warmer compared to the rest of the United States. 9 degrees in Bismarck. It is absolutely very dry there. Please wear your chapstick if you are outside in such very dry conditions. And 65 in Miami is what we would expect for Miami, of course. With our temperature anomalies, we could see that it is pretty cold, especially in Montana, Billings, very cold compared to usual. But in our southeast region, it is much warmer compared to usual, which is pretty ideal for spring break if you ask me. Texas is pretty warm compared to usual, unless you're near Oklahoma. It's a little cooler there as well. We can see that the cold fronts that I mentioned earlier, firstly, there is a low pressure over Minneapolis bringing all that rain that I mentioned earlier. So if you are in Minneapolis, please bring an umbrella if you are going outside. And if we make our way down to the southeast, we can see that cold front I was mentioning earlier. So it's pushing its way this way, and there's one pushing its way down to the Keys near Miami as well. So those areas, please make sure that you are driving safe if you are driving in the rain. But other than that, not much weather going on, and you can see with our water vapor that rain that I was mentioning, so pretty wet over here. And if we decide to zoom in a little bit more on Minneapolis, you can see that low pressure system that I was mentioning earlier just kind of bundling around here, even in Wisconsin. And you can also see a little bit of snow over in Colorado and Utah area. And even in Illinois, there are some pop-up showers as well. So make sure that you are staying safe in the rain. However, if you are in the Northeast right now, your conditions are looking pretty spotless, minus a few couple of pop-up showers, or maybe even some clouds if you are near New York or the Canada border. And if we look even closer at that other cold front I mentioned, you could see it moving this way. There's a lot of heavy storms around Mississippi and Alabama region, and even in Texas. And we can take a little look again down in Miami with that other cold front bringing some pop-up showers down, moving its way down more south. And we're going to zoom in a little bit more on California, because California has been getting a lot of rain recently. You can see some showers over there kind of just settling over the area. It's not really going anywhere, and a lot of these clouds pushing its way east this way with the Gulf Stream. It is leaning above temperatures down in New Mexico, but over the course of spring break, we can see the temperatures are leaning a little bit below usual, which calls for a very comfortable spring break, if you ask me, because leaning below usual in Miami means pretty nice and warm rather than scorching hot. However, with our precipitation, as I mentioned in California, with all of that rain happening, we are seeing a likely above average precipitation outlook in that region, and it kind of makes its way a little over towards the east, but it's pretty dry overall. And we're going to zoom in a little bit more on California here, where we are having this moderate rain as well. And the rain is very excessive in this area as well, and you can start to see a little rain from the other cold front as well in this region. And overnight, the weather will be beautiful everywhere except in the north, where it will be absolutely frigid. And now we're going to pass things off to Oceana to talk a little bit more about lifestyle.
Yes, if you have activities planned for after spring break or before spring break, you definitely want to pay attention to this portion. So for our live look at Doak, just like we had shown before, we have 77 degrees, mostly sunny. So if you are taking a walk tonight, it's a beautiful night to do that. As far as airport delays are concerned, it is clear in Tallahassee. This day has been absolutely beautiful, as you saw, and it was crisp air, no delays at the airport. Again, 77 degrees. As far as the rest of the country is concerned, we have no delays as well. We've had great weather across the country, luckily, today, so we will not be expecting any delays in that area. But if you are taking your dog on a walk tomorrow, or even your cat, as you can see, we have great temperatures in the morning, 55 at 7, and it'll warm up to about 69 at 11. So definitely try to get out there early. It will warm up tomorrow. Definitely going to warm up tomorrow, so I would definitely take it easy in the afternoon. For our viewing conditions tonight for stargazing, it is going to be poor. Definitely would not be a perfect night for that, but it will be a perfect night for FSU softball on Friday. We're looking at 52 degrees, partly cloudy in Oklahoma. If you are traveling to Oklahoma at all, you might as well support FSU softball. Good luck to them. And as far as FSU baseball is concerned, it will be rainy, unfortunately. Not as good conditions for them. It will be here, though, so if you are still in Tallahassee on Friday, definitely take a look at the baseball game for FSU. It will be raining, though, so definitely bring your umbrella. As for our Shell Point Beach camera, it is beautiful there right now. 72 degrees, mostly sunny, slight wind. It is absolutely stunning there. If you have never been to Shell Point, I highly recommend. It is absolutely stunning, and if you are staying in Tallahassee for spring break, this will be a great spot to go to. It is only about 45 minutes away from here. As far as the beach concerned, once more, if you're going to head to the beach tomorrow morning, it is going to be beautiful. 63 at 7, 65 at 9, and 70 at 11. Tomorrow is a great beach day. Will be pretty cloudy, but overall the temperatures are looking wonderful as far as that is concerned. For our weekend, Friday is the day to look out for. It's going to be 81 as a high, 60 as a low, but that 50% chance of rain might catch you by surprise, so I would definitely recommend bringing an umbrella with you just in case that happens. As far as our weekend, though, stunning temperatures. We've got high of 79, high of 80, sunshine, no rain. It will be absolutely gorgeous here in Tallahassee on this weekend. Great start to spring break. All right, I'm going to pass it over for our next segment.
So we're going to take one last look over Doak Campbell Stadium right now. I'm actually going to wait to get on screen so you guys can really relish in the sunset. I don't want to obstruct your view. This is what makes me so excited for summer because of these sunsets. They are absolutely stunning. It is currently 77 degrees under mostly sunny skies, as we can tell. Not that many clouds in the sky as we head into our evening, and winds out of the east-northeast at 7 miles per hour. And like as we saw in our live look, not much going on the radar right now besides these burns that we were talking about a little bit earlier, but again, not any rain to be concerned with as of right now. And for the rest of the Big Bend region besides us here at 77, we're sitting at the mid-70s for the majority of the region. A little bit cooler up north. We're sitting at 68 in Thomasville, 74 in Donaldsonville, and 74 down by the coast, which is always tending to be a little bit cooler around this time of day. And for our temperature almanac, we were above average today, which what else is new? We have seen that over the past few weeks, but we did not reach our record of 88 degrees, and I am very happy about that. Nor did we hit our low of 25 in 1899. That sounds absolutely awful. It is also incredibly dry here. It is 44 here in Tallahassee, a little bit more muggy by the coast, but we kind of saw that dry line as we looked at the state and our national radar. We have drier conditions for the northern part of Florida, but then south of I-10 we're seeing those more muggy conditions. It is 36 in Donaldsonville and 39 in Thomasville. And for our future radar, as we head into tomorrow morning, we'll see those clouds move through the area as we see that cold front start to move in. We have a few spotty showers here and there that could be possible, so make sure that you're bringing your umbrella out possibly, but definitely for Friday, as we'll look at a little bit later. Tonight it's going to be a little bit chilly, 54 and mostly cloudy, so that kind of adds to that chilliness, and winds out of the east at 6 miles per hour. And for tonight, again, it'll be 56 here in Tallahassee, and kind of the same story around the majority of the Big Bend region, sitting in the mid-50s up in southern Georgia, 64 in Apalachicola and 63 in Carabel, so not too bad right now. And for tomorrow, we're going to hit 78 degrees under partly cloudy skies as we see that cold front move through. Winds are going to be out of the south at 8 miles per hour. And as well for the rest of the Big Bend, again, we're seeing sort of similar temperatures across the rest of the region, sitting at 75 in Thomasville, 78 in Bainbridge. Again, a little cooler by the coast, sitting in the lower 70s down by the beach. So if you're headed to the beach tomorrow, that'll be pretty nice. And then for our week ahead, we'll see that cold front move through this weekend, and then our spring break temperatures are going to be pretty chilly, but we'll talk about more as we head into the rest of the week. Now, I'll pass it off to Joy and Nikki at the desk.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And wow, we are so ready for spring break here at FSU Weather, and it's interesting to see that we're going to be seeing some pretty cool temperatures, which is not what we'd expect for our spring break.
Yeah, have you been taking some midterms this week?
Actually, no. I've been very lucky to not have midterms this week. What about you?
You know, I had 2 last week and I have 1 this week, but it hasn't been too bad. And unfortunately, the worst part about having midterms and going to class is that it's been really hot outside and I've been really sweaty.
Right. So if you are staying in Tallahassee, maybe you will enjoy this cooler weather, but I will be going home and going to the beach and enjoying some nice toasty weather down in Miami.
Oh, that's nice. I'm going to Georgia with my friends, and then I'm going home to Newport Richey, Florida, and it should be a good time.
That sounds absolutely wonderful. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/FSU Weather.
And follow or like us on Facebook at facebook.com/FSU Weather.
And make sure to watch us live on YouTube at youtube.com/FSU Weather.
It's probably what you're watching this on right now. Follow us on Instagram on FSU Weather, and also don't forget to follow us on TikTok, where we post some cool behind-the-scenes videos that you would really enjoy. So make sure you follow.
Absolutely. I love our TikTok. And make sure to celebrate the woman in your life today on International Women's Day, especially considering this was an all-women show today. Thank you for watching FSU Weather, and we're going to take it to Elizabeth for the last 10 seconds of the weather.
All right, so taking a look at our 7-day one last time. Like I said earlier, we'll see that cold front move through this weekend, and then we'll see very colder conditions heading into the beginning of your spring break. We are possibly seeing a 38 degree down there as our low on Tuesday heading into Wednesday. So if you're staying in Tallahassee, it might be cold, but enjoy your spring break nonetheless. Have a good evening.